Juneteenth is, excuse me, what's happening to the white people? They have a Black Miss America. They have a Black college. They have a Black month. What do we have? And now they have Juneteenth. I understand there was slavery, don't get me wrong. But there was also a Holocaust, and that was more recent than slavery. But you don't hear the Jews saying, gimme, 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 gimme. What's the point of Juneteenth? What is it? I don't know.
See, this is why we can't have nice things. Somebody left their granny unattended long enough for her to find the camera and her to think to herself, now's my time to shine. The black man in this country has gotten away with entirely too much, and somebody's got to put their foot down, and that somebody's going to be me. For those of you who are unaware, Juneteenth, which was last week, is a holiday to commemorate the emancipation of slaves in this country. Slavery, if you've heard of it, was one of the worst inventions of humanity, and it persisted in this country for an ungodly amount of time, and now we celebrate Juneteenth to commemorate the end of it. Now, hopefully most of you were like me and enjoyed the day off, but I recognize there were a few people who fall in the category of this lovely lady who can't have black people have this single thing without getting all hot and bothered. And that extends all the way up to the White House.
Just one more on Juneteenth. Does the president plan to commemorate the holiday today or make any comment on it?
I'm not tracking his signature on a proclamation today. I know this is a federal holiday. I want to thank all of you for showing up to work. We are certainly here. We're working 24/7 right now. Nikki, go ahead.
Actually, that was my question. Will he plan to mark Juneteenth in any way, either today or with an event later on, maybe next week?
Sure. I just answered that question for you.
Don't worry. He certainly did make a statement.
The president did not sign a proclamation this year observing the holiday. Instead, he took to social media posting, "Too many non-working holidays in America. It's costing our country billions of dollars to keep all of these businesses closed."
Clearly, this president is just so hyper-focused on being a hard-working, productive individual of society. I mean, that's why he has 6 hours a day worth of executive time where he eats Big Macs and watches Fox News. And why in his first term, he spent well over a year on the golf course. But not you, black people, back to work. Coal's not going to shovel itself. I also like to take the time to mention this while we're on the subject of holidays, that in the state of Alabama and probably in other southern states, Juneteenth sits so nestled closely to such other honorable holidays like Confederate Memorial Day and Jefferson Davis Day. And Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the state of Alabama, like I said, probably in other states too, happens to fall coincidentally every year on Robert E. Lee Day. So maybe President Trump is right. Maybe we do have too many holidays.
Well, if you thought that was extreme, you won't believe this, or maybe you will because it happened on The View. This is Whoopi Goldberg. She gave a shocking claim about how black people in our country are comparing to what it's like to live in Iran.
Let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
I'm sorry, but where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
Keep hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step foot wearing this outfit.
That's not what you mean to say. It is the same.
No, it's not. The year 2025 in the United States is nothing like if I step foot wearing this outfit in Toronto.
Killed for I'm sorry.
I think it's very different to live in the United States in 2025 than it is to live in Iran.
Not if you're black.
Not for everybody.
Not if you're black.
Whoopi Goldberg has millions of dollars. Whoopi Goldberg's a famous actress. She's on a talk show, Kennedy, and it's time to educate Whoopi Goldberg.
Quickly, some people forget the history of this nation. And I've never been to Iran, and I'm not going to opine on how bad it is over there for gay people in comparison to how bad it is over here for gay people and black people and other minorities. And historically, certainly, there's a context there. But I will say, a lady just called a 5-year-old N-word and raised $1 million. So we ain't that far removed. But Kaylee knows better, because Whoopi Goldberg is a millionaire, ergo racism no longer exists. Makes sense to me.
Tell me about Juneteenth.
Listen, now I'm a Texan.
Yes, you are.
So I feel like the rest of the country is just now kind of getting tuned in. Yeah. But I will tell you that being a Black woman, and for those that don't understand Juneteenth, this was about the fact that the last slaves down in Texas finally 2 years later realized that, or were made aware that they were no longer enslaved people. But in this time, though, especially with the anti-DEI movement and the rollback just of our civil rights and our civil liberties as a whole, as well as ignoring the Constitution, and there's so many rights that Black folk got specifically just from the Constitution, I think that this Juneteenth, everyone, whether you're Black or otherwise, should really evaluate what does freedom look like in this country.
Politicians thrive on creating an environment of us versus them. Politicians like Donald Trump, they bank on you believing that you're different from groups that don't look like you. That somehow my gain as a Black man is your loss if you don't look like me, and vice versa. Your gain as a white man, a white woman, Hispanic, are my loss because you don't look like me. That's how he's banking that we're going to be okay with ICE agents mauling people in the street, because as long as the current class of people that he's picking on doesn't look like me, I'm unaffected. Because that's the way he thinks. And I will tell you, he's wrong. He's dead wrong. We're all in this together. Ask not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. Juneteenth is not a Black holiday. Juneteenth is an American holiday. February is Black History Month, but it's not Black History Month alone, it's American history alone. When any group of us as Americans triumph over an evil, we all triumph. When any group of us as Americans are harmed by an evil, we're all harmed. And we should celebrate Juneteenth, not as a Black holiday, but just like we celebrate VE Day or, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, when we triumphed over the Nazis. Because we all triumphed over evil. We all triumphed over the evil of slavery. That's why we celebrate Juneteenth. And I have no doubt that if we all come together, that one day we will triumph over this current iteration of evil.